Hi, it's Gail Hunt from Automate UK. We're back here at Endoline to talk about the challenges they're facing in today's automation market. So challenges you're facing today, what are those? Increased costs or?
Yeah, the costs are going to go through the roof. I mean, blimey, we had to put price increases on. Everybody was. All our suppliers were putting the prices up, so that became really challenging. It's a different world now selling kit. Before, when we were selling, it was very much meet in, do a quotation, sell some machine. It seems now projects go on and on and on.
Yep.
You know, there's many signatures to sign, there's many hurdles to overcome. It's more competitive now. People come in trying to take our market in the UK here. So it is quite tough. It's always challenge. It's business though, isn't it? If it was easy, everybody would do it.
So in terms of the challenges, is that affecting business at all? Is business good at the minute?
Business has just started to turn around. It's been a really, really tough time. As you know, I'm on the board at the Automate UK, so I work closely with the directors there, obviously exchanging information, talking about how we can change things, and everybody's felt it's been a tough time, you know, and similar sorts of things, getting components, people placing orders, getting the orders over the line for delivery, all that kind of stuff. So it's been really, really challenging. So we're able to, you know, talk closely with the guys at the Automate UK board, and you know, they can offer advice or whatever really. But things have definitely turned around now. When I was looking at my numbers not so long ago, we're still not where we were pre-COVID, so I don't think we're fully recovered yet. But we're getting closer. You know, it's just so hard to predict, and I think that's one of the biggest challenges for everybody is how do you forecast? How do you predict what's coming in? You know, do you take more people on? Do you invest in this? Because it can just dry up really instantly.
Sure.
So it's a tough one. It's really hard.
So the challenges that Andrew is now facing as MD,
Yeah.
that you faced as MD coming into the business, are they the same? Are they very different? Are they similar?
I think they're almost identical. When I was doing it, we had staffing issues, you have cost issues, you have productivity issues, you have accountants issues and lawyers issues, all those health and safety. Those things are very, very much the same. It's how they've changed and how you deal with them. You may remember BS 5750.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing coming.
Investors and people.
Yeah.
Right? We've heard of that now. Right? Those things you have to do naturally to maintain a healthy, happy workforce. So, and finding skilled people is our biggest issue. We're looking for another 3 fitters on the shop floor. I think we've been looking for 5-6 months, and it's not as if they want more money. They're just not there.
Yeah.
Design engineer, you could spend 6 months. And the salary has doubled in the last 2 or 3 years. So that's another issue for when you're running a business.
That your costs are as everybody's are.
In the last couple of years, the cost has been silly. We all know that. You go to a restaurant and think, how much?
Yes.
And some of our raw material costs went up 25%. Others sort of 8-10%. But
Yeah.
the previous 20 years, it'd be 2.5% a year.
But
so
if your margin is 5%, that's significant, isn't it?
If your margin's 5%, you've got a problem. Running a business is tougher than it was many, many years ago.
So going around your factory, you've got lots of skilled people in
Yeah.
here. Skill shortages, is
Yeah.
it a big issue for you?
It's been a major issue for us. We're taking on recruiting for some new fitters at the moment, and it's quite hard to find now. What we have been doing is taking some youngsters on, aren't the finished article, getting them trained up in-house. A few of them over the years, they've been doing a day release at college, not even as trainees, but learning in the evenings as well.
Yeah.
So there is a skill shortage. But I mean, the guys that we've got in here are very, very good. They're highly skilled guys, so you know, we're lucky to have them all.
So, and are they happy to have the young people coming in?
Yeah, if anything, a lot of the guys, they say they're really happy. They sort of encourage us to try and get these youngsters in, you know, to try and find them. So quite recently, Evans, I've also got a couple of young girls in from Bedford College we got approached by to see if they would be open to take them on for a day release.
Okay.
So they're actually in all this week because it's half term, but they're in every Friday to get their hours up, and then they can decide whether they go on to an apprenticeship or whatever they want to do in the future. So we're more than happy to help them out, yeah.
Oh, that's great, isn't it? And the college must love that because they must struggle to
They really appreciate companies. A lot of the time they're not interested, but you know, that's how I came from my background. Nutrition is just try and help youngsters to get into this industry and really push them, you know, to people to come through. And it's going to help us out ultimately, yeah.
Because you hear a lot of people moaning about it, but they expect someone else to train
Exactly,
them, don't they? Or whatever. We're here now with James Saywell, Sales Manager in the UK. And we're going to talk about the issues that are faced by customers that Endoline are answering. So, James, how long have you been in your role, first of all?
So I've been here at Endoline for about 9 years now, coming up on. And yeah, came from a strong sales background, not necessarily capital equipment. But yeah, the company's been really good about training me up and getting me used to all the machinery and things.
Okay. Okay, so customers out there, they've got all kinds of issues going on at the minute. What are they?
So the critical things that we walk into every day is an army of labour on the end of a production line. So a typical factory I might walk into will be 4 or 5 different people doing one process. So you have a lot of people building up boxes, a lot of people handling and packing product, and obviously closing and sealing boxes as well. So the minute we see that, we know that that's a good situation for our machinery to come in and help people out. Especially these days, you know, with all the things that have gone on geopolitically and politically, with labour markets, trained labour and trusted labour is very hard for people to get hold of these days.
Yeah.
So when they're trying to get someone in, as a machine operator as an example, you want someone who's into the job and wants to stick around for a while. So our level of inquiry is still very high, even with what seems to be going on in the world at the
And yet
moment.
I would always think that, you know, the end of line would already be very automated because it's quite an easy thing to automate.
Yeah,
isn't
you'd
it?
be surprised because what you find is you have a lot of companies, be they co-packers or packing for another company, and they're dictated to quite heavily by the end user.
Yeah.
So they need some sort of flexibility on the end of the line, and that might be the formats the products are packed in or the type of box it's being packed in. So that level of flexibility is sometimes hard to automate. So it's kind of the last thing that people look at. And also we are the very last process, so we are oftentimes the last thing that people have looked at. And we end up trying to get our solution in like a postage stamp.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that footprint is an issue.
Footprint is always an issue for us, always a challenge. We're always the last thing to have been looked at in the factory. And yeah, you're kind of left with the last bit of space that's in the factory. And as such, the machinery is kind of built with that in mind.
We're joined now by Nikki Metcalf, who's the service manager at Endoline. And Nikki, you've been here some years.
I have.
Tell us about your current role.
So my current role is as customer service manager. So that puts me at the forefront of the after sales. So once customers have got their machines, I'm the person they come to if they want to get them service, if they have any technical support they need. So basically, keeps me very busy.
We were talking about skill shortages earlier with your colleagues in the factory. And I'm sure your role has expanded in servicing because there are less skills in your customers. Is that true, or is that?
It is true. So we have a lot of customers now who do order picking. So
Okay,
basically
yeah.
they're not manufacturing a product, but they're taking a product and putting it into a box.
Yeah.
So they still need a case erector and they still need a case sealer, but they don't need really technical engineers on site because they're not actually manufacturing a product.
Yeah.
So they tend to lean on us a lot more for the support. So we've introduced things like platinum service agreements for them.
Okay.
So they will pay for one of our engineers to go monthly. Normally we service machines every 6 months, but they pay monthly. We don't service them every month, but we make sure that obviously all the air pipes are clear, that the machine's set up correctly.
Yeah.
If they've got any new operators, we can do training with them. So
Okay.
it just gives them that extra bit of support that's needed.
So that must really be key for them, because if they can't pack in a box and that's their entire role.
Exactly. It sort of brings things to a standstill. And of course, as you know, the speed that our machines are doing,
Yeah.
so if you've got an average case erector that's going at 16 cases a minute, that's a lot of work to erect that amount of cases
Yeah.
by an operator.
And a lot of people needed
Yes.
if they've got an order to get out of the door.
Exactly.
Hi, we're back, and with Peter Nichols, who is the Purchasing and Finance Manager at Endoline. Welcome. Tell us a bit about how long you've been here and the kind of things you're doing.
I've been at Endoline now for just over 2 years. I come from a banking background
Okay.
and initially took over as purchasing manager and subsequently have taken over as finance manager too.
So, thinking about purchasing, you joined purchasing function in quite a challenging time.
I did, yeah. So I guess we were just off the back of a pandemic.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all don't need reminding of that. But also with the a newly broken war in Ukraine and Russia. So yes, to acquire the parts that we do, we've had to diversify our supply network somewhat.
So, were you able to procure the same quality of component, or was that quite a challenge too?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I'm assuming you were taking the best you could beforehand. So
We were. However, I do think it was a bit of an opportunity as well to further grow our supply network and to compare what we had with what we're getting. So it was an opportunity at the same time to diversify further. But yeah, absolutely, the quality in our product certainly didn't diminish over that period of time.
so maybe a bit of a opportunity in a way, just to have a look round, because maybe you wouldn't have done if you...
I think exactly that, yes. I mean, I can't talk for my predecessor because obviously I wasn't here.
Sure.
But no, absolutely, I think you're right.
Yeah, okay. So I know not that much about finance in particular, but I'm thinking doing finance with escalating costs must be bad at a small business, or as bad, or if not worse than a larger company. So how are you doing your clever financy bits to sort all that out?
Yeah, so we make sure that we're continuously reviewing all of our costs, and namely our fixed overheads, so we can put as much money back into the business as possible. And you're right, so for smaller businesses they're a lot harder to absorb some costs. So last year gas and electric went through the roof, and for smaller businesses like us, we feel that a lot more than some other larger businesses that can absorb that cost easier. And like even in your personal finances, it's always good to have a review of insurances to see if there's more competitive prices out there, and they're the fundamentals that we try and adhere to.
So you kind of think businesses would be doing that anyway, but it's obviously the need to do that has become much greater.
Absolutely, I think so, yes, and highlighted by the additional expenses elsewhere. But I do think you find that there is an element of complacency with costs as well. So because something works, you don't necessarily review it for a few years, but absolutely now it's highlighted to us that year on year we try our best to review absolutely.
I think you're right when you say your personal finances, because sometimes you get your insurance through and you think, it's not too much more, I haven't got time to sort that out, and you just end up paying it and then get cross because you didn't review it.
Exactly that, yeah. Sometimes you need a kick up the backside to review these things, don't you?
Yes, obviously you do that. Okay, well, sounds like they're in good, safe hands
So,
for the
yeah.
future, and thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. with Alan, and we're talking about basically this empire is now this big. It came from Little Big. You know, it's how many years does it take? So it's 80. So it's
It started,
40.
It was incorporated in 81.
Right. Okay.
So they started actually selling stuff in the back end of 81. I've got no idea what the turnover was. It wasn't very much.
Yeah.
They didn't pay themselves for quite a number of years. It was pretty tough setting up a business. And now we've got thick end of 50 employees. We turn over in the region of 7 million. And, you know, we're looking at product development all the time. So we look at expanding our product range, making them faster, smaller, more accessible to different types of marketplace. When we develop, we tend to subcontract a lot of the brainy stuff. We've got 9 design engineers and they're pretty switched on.
Yeah.
But we tend to utilise other people's brains. We're in a process of using MTC for a special project. It's very much in its embryo stage. We know they'll be able to help us, and if I were to do it myself, or we were to do it ourselves, it would take us 18 months, 2 years, cost us a fortune.
Yeah.
So we bring in expert help. When we expand our product range, we don't necessarily always build it ourselves. If we see something that is a pretty good damn product, we'll buy it in, we'll adapt it to the UK market and sell it on. So again, that saves us product development, etc.
Yeah.
And a key to all this is, of course, the people. You know, we've got 45, 50 employees. And I've always said to all of my employees is, I don't pay you, I just transfer the customer's money to you. So if you want to impress somebody, don't impress me, impress the customer. And we like to think we are, especially our design engineers, that our sales be very customer focused.
Yeah.
So they know what the customer wants. It's not, we don't sell our customers a standard range of machines. We go and ask them, what's your problem? Is it throughput? Is it speed? Is it space? How can we help you resolve that?
So future's looking bright post-Brexit.
I don't know if my future's looking bright. I think we're over the worst of it. I think, you know, we were in recession according to the press just recently. There was the COVID issue. There's the cost of living, which impacts on people's disposable income. Therefore, they're not spending much and they don't buy so much, etc.
Yep.
I think we're over the worst of that. I don't think there's going to be another recession for quite some time, because we went through the 2008 and 2013 recessions. I think things are going to start picking up, and we've got to be on the back of that. We've got to stay sharp and just ensure that we can ride some of those lovely waves that are going to.
Which is what you've done since you started.
Yes, yeah. We learned how to swim damn quickly.
Yeah.
Because that boat was quite rocky for a while.
Alan, as ever, a pleasure to talk to you.
Can I have a cuddle now?
Yeah. Oh, not on camera. Today, we explored the heartbeat of Endoline, a thriving present, overcoming obstacles and embracing innovation. Tune in next time for how they are embracing the future.